You know who I am, you know what you're watching, and you know what I'm talking about. Now, Randy Orton has been in the business, funny enough, for all his life because his dad and his grandfather were big wrestlers in the 80s, 70s, and 60s. Now, Randy Orton is 36 now, and he has been wrestling since the late 90s, and maybe even a little bit in 2000. Made his debut in 2002 and has been in the limelight ever since. Now, 14 years, 14 years in the limelight, 14 years wrestling in front of thousands and thousands of people must take a toll on you. And I've got 10 reasons why Randy Orton might be retiring soon. Number one, he's injury prone. 2002, he was getting a push, was just drafted to Raw, and was getting wins over guys like Lance Storm and Christian. But then, shoulder injury took him out of the running. Then he came back as a heel, quickly joined Evolution, a stable comprised of the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, Triple H, the World Heavyweight Champion, Batista, a new beast coming over to Raw, and the young third-generation star, Randy Orton. But he gets injured yet again in a house show. Gets injured again in 2005 due to concussion. Now, the thing is about Randy Orton, he is injury prone. He's been injured a lot in the wrestling business, and maybe he wants to get out before he ends up in a wheelchair. So that is one reason why I think Randy Orton might be wanting to get out before he starts wearing a diaper. Number two, he's done it all. Won the Royal Rumble, main event of WrestleMania multiple times. Won championship, countless championships. What else is there for him to do? Nothing. Nothing. Is he going to win the Universal title? That's not going to add anything to his attributes. Not even, winning the world title one more time. It's just, he's done it all. Number three, which is basically you can put it in with number two. It can be like a two-parter. He's wrestled everyone. Now you might say, okay, there is Sami Zayn, there might be guys like Nakamura and AJ Styles, but the thing is, for every guy that you might mention, he's wrestled someone similar to that. You talk about AJ Styles, yeah, he wrestled like the likes of Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, and Shawn Michaels. You talk about Nakamura, well, he wrestled, the likes of, Brock Lesnar, Tajiri, Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, all those guys. And I think, if you're going to put him in the ring with Nakamura or AJ Styles, I don't think it would be that big of a match as if it would be like Nakamura against anybody else, because the intrigue would be Nakamura. Number four, his acting career. He has been in about 3 movies and would probably be in a 4th one very, very soon. But the thing is about Randy Orton is that despite him being beat down by the wrestling business and having a very, very hard career, he still has movie star good looks, and he's still got a great body that can be marketed in movies. He can be a great action star, and there is no reason for him not to be in movies as much as John Cena. Number 5, family. Same reason why Shawn Michaels left WWE and retired. Family. Now, you might say, okay, well, how come he didn't retire before? Because he was married. Well, right now, you can tell that he's happily married. He's got a daughter who he loves very much, and he has a new wife that he loves very much. So, yeah, that could be a big reason for him to want to stay back and see his daughter grow up to be a wonderful woman. Number 6, overshadowed. With the likes of Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, and everybody that's been coming up from NXT onto the main rosters, you can easily tell that Randy Orton is slowly being lost in the shuffle. And I think that's one of the big reasons why they put him in the Wyatt family, is because he's kind of living off the youth movement that is going on right now. And he's easily overshadowed by everybody else, because he's kind of like what he was to many of the mainstays when he was coming up in 2003. Now, he might be a great wrestler, but hey, now we've got 2 rosters filled with great wrestlers. So it's very easy to be overshadowed, not just by great wrestlers, but also great talkers. Number 7, Randy Orton doesn't draw. As a star, if you put him in any house show, put him in the main event, and you say Randy Orton is going to be in the main event for a championship, not many people would show up unless it's against John Cena. Because nowadays, nobody really draws. It's the WWE that draws. It's the brand that draws. Either that or a big returning star, like Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, and John Cena, or even The Rock. But Randy Orton, he doesn't draw. You can put him against anybody and he will not draw unless it's a returning big star. And that person is the one that's going to get asses into seats. Number 8, storylines. That can be a part 3 to him doing it all. There are no new grounds for Randy Orton to go to. There are no new storylines for him to do. He's been part of a faction. He's been fighting a faction. He's been part of a faction that's been fighting another faction. He's been fighting the Authority. He's been part of the Authority. He's been a rebel. He's been the guy that was beating down a rebel. He has done it all. So there aren't any new grounds for him to go to. So not new creative storylines. The only way for him to go for is to retire and be either a GM, manager, or a commentator. And I know that's not something that Randy Orton wants to try out. Number 9, restricted. Now, Randy Orton is the type of person that wants to put his feet up and wants to have a little bit more leeway in his ideas. But sometimes those ideas get shut down for the greater good or just for the sake of stroking the big boss, that is Vince McMahon. And yeah, Randy Orton can be a creative guy, but at the same time, yeah, you sometimes need to put a leash on that puppy. But you can kind of see his point of view, because he did state in other interviews that he would like for blood to return on main shows. He wants, blood to return. He wants, it to go back to being TV 14. He wants the Attitude Era to return. He wants to be, he wants to be able to drink beer, in front of the camera. He wants all of that to return. Now he's being restricted. That must mean it's a very uncomfortable working environment. Number 10, other challenges. Now, other wrestlers have found new life outside of wrestling, with Mick Foley finding stand-up, Chris Jericho doing more stuff with his band, and doing other, Dancing with the Stars, and writing his books. Same with Mick Foley. Stone Cold with his podcast. Same goes for Jim Ross and Cornette, and everybody basically having their own podcast now. Now, I would like for Randy Orton to start his own podcast and basically, start throwing out dirt and basically throw everybody under the bus and really tell us what's been going on backstage. I would like to hear some of his side of the story, because there are a lot of stories that are against and anti Randy Orton, and I would like for him to shine a little bit of light on those stories. I'd really like to hear his side of the story. So he might go for a podcast. Hey, he might start, doing, challenges on shows, like stuff like, Fear Factor and stuff like that, like American Grit that John Cena's been doing, or Hero that The Rock has been doing. Hey, he might want to, venture off in some other projects like that and, follow the footsteps of other wrestlers. He might, go to movies and stuff like that. So challenges is exactly what a lot of those athletes are looking for, especially when, you're in the wrestling business. You want to be challenged by a storyline, another talent, or a booking idea, if you can portray it and really sell it really well. So he might not find it in wrestling. He might find it somewhere else. And those are the 10 reasons why I think Randy Orton might be retiring very soon. So I've been the Variety Vendor, and stay tuned where I'll be talking about something else.